Thank you for staying with us. So, a new year, generally, January can be so hard because if you're like me, you must have spent your money in December. This is popular knowledge. It hasn't been, it hasn't been debunked yet. So we stick to that theory and that's our understanding. And so, trying to make your 2026 a little easy on you, we've managed to whisk my sister. She is a personal finance coach, Sophia Kafui. She's here to give you at least 5 power-packed financial nuggets for 2026. There are no buts and ifs to this. You note it down, make sure you're following it, and then we'll take stock at the end of the year. It's good to see you, sis. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
I hope you're well.
Doing very well. Yourself?
I'm very well. Thank you for asking. Thank you. I have my pen and my paper.
Okay.
We can start.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So, Happy New Year, everyone. You agree with me that the New Year is just like any other day, but it presents us opportunity to set goals that will make our lives better and also help improve our human dignity. So I have very few stuff to talk about, 5 financial nuggets that will guide you in 2026. The first one is that your salary is no longer your security. You know, everyone is praying, God, give me a job and this. And once we get a job, we think that that is enough. But there are so many other opportunities where we can increase our income streams. And that will be through maybe an additional source of income, like a gig, sort of. Why am I saying that? It's very necessary that your salary can't protect you enough. I mean, inflation has taught us that inflation can make nonsense of your salary. Somewhere 2022, we realized that the cedi depreciated so high and it eroded a lot of people's income, especially those who earn the Ghana cedi and not foreign currency. And that has taught us a lot. And also, once you don't own the job, even if you own it, at some point it can collapse.
Sure.
Yeah, so layoffs, business struggles, and all those things have taught us that having one source of income will not give you the needed security you need. So having one source of income will not give you the needed security. So what's the advice here?
Yeah.
The advice here is for us to be able to build at least one additional stream of income. I mean, social media presents us a lot of opportunities to sell without actually having a physical warehouse or something. Even if someone is selling a house or a car, you can, if you have the followership, you can pick it, put it on your status, and maybe agree with the person and get some commission on that. That gives you an additional source of income that can augment your current income. And it's very important for us to know that this year and beyond, I mean, having additional source of income is not like negotiable. It's actually a survival strategy. So even if your additional source of income will be even 300, 500,000 or something, once it adds to your existing income, it makes your life better in a way.
So if I understand, because your salary is no longer your security, you must find another source of income.
Yeah.
This other source of income should definitely not threaten the existence of your job that is giving you that salary, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And not your additional source of income should not conflict with what you are doing. So it means you have to look at your job. What else can you do that will not put you in a conflict of interest situation, and then go in for those legit ones and then make your life better.
Okay. That's the first nugget.
Yeah.
Okay. Nugget number 2.
Nugget number 2, emergency funds are no longer luxury. You know, savings are not for profits, but it's for survival. Many of us want to invest, but we do not really have any emergency funds. So just one emergency just wipes off all our savings or investment over a period. For instance, if you have no health insurance in place, or you are not supported by any employee benefit that will take care of some emergency health issues, you can agree with me that one health emergency can erode all your income. So it's very important that we build an emergency fund. That's, I mean, the rule of thumb is that you should be able to have at least between 3 to 6 months of your basic living expenses as an emergency fund.
Explain that. Basic living expenses.
Yes, so you as a person, you should be able to estimate how much you spend on a monthly basis. I mean, take an average of a good month, a rough month, and then a normal month. And then you take the average, then it gives you an idea of how much typically you spend. So if you are able to know that, okay, typically I spend maybe 10,000 or 12,000 a month, then you should be able to have an emergency fund that will be like 3 times of that, or between 3 to 6 times of that.
Okay.
That gives you very good security. It comes in handy when you have financial emergency, so that you don't go calling people and all that.
Where does the emergency fund usually come from?
So mostly emergency funds are something that you have to build intentionally. It's different from your investments. You just have to put a percentage. It's something that you can build over a period of time and let it be secure there, and then you continue your other investments. So if you know that, okay, you spend between 10 to 12,000 cedis a month, and you currently do not have an emergency fund, it means that you have to plan and budget in such a way that your next salary or whatever gig you get, you'll be putting some money down to give you up to between 36,000 and above as your emergency fund, so that if something happens to you, you can quickly fall on it.
What's the percentage you would recommend?
Some people say, depending on your income level. So it's a function of your income level and also your typical expense.
Okay.
Yeah, so some people say 10%, 15% of your income. But if you build the emergency fund to the point that is okay, then you don't have to continue building. Mostly people build emergency funds by putting funds in maybe money market investments. I'll explain them when we move forward, or putting them in savings and other products that are offered by financial institutions. There's this thing I always say: there are certain things that should not come as emergency. You know that you pay rent every year, and you know how much your current rent is. Wouldn't it be prudent for you to put aside maybe, let's say your rent is 1,000 cedis a month. What if you put even 400 cedis every month towards that rent in a savings account or investment account? By the time that 1 year is up, even if you earn like an interest of maybe 100 cedis in addition, you already have 50% of your rent.
Right.
Then your current month salary, you can decide to probably add like maybe 40% to it, and then give it to the landlord and negotiate a grace period. But you can't wait. You know very well that your rent is due, and you wait for the year to end, and you now call friends. This is an emergency. This shouldn't be an emergency. These are some of the things that we can practically provide for to protect our human dignity, and also to help us have a better life, so you don't stress yourself on things that are totally preventable. School fees is one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are
not a surprise. Yeah.
Predictable. You know very well how much the school fees is. You know very well that it is paid quarterly and all those things. So you just have to plan for it. When it comes, it shouldn't come as a surprise to you.
Stop calling people that I need emergency. Okay.
Then your emergency becomes our emergency.
That's true. Nugget number 3.
Nugget number 3. So if you don't control your lifestyle, inflation will control you. A lot of us grow our lifestyle faster than our income, and that can quietly lead us into bankruptcy. You know, sometimes when we hear the concept of bankruptcy, we think that it is only for corporate organizations, that the organization is bankrupt and all that. But individuals too can be bankrupt, and in our normal parlance, we say that the person is broke and that kind of thing. So if you know your source of income and you don't adjust, you are spending more than you are earning, then you are not being prudent. There's this popular saying that if you are in a hole, you don't dig deeper. If you are in a hole, your struggle or your objective should be that, so let me get out of this hole. But if you keep digging deeper, then you are putting yourself in a self-sabotaging manner that only God or grace can rescue you. But sometimes the grace doesn't come as fast as you expect. You just need to put practical steps in place to be able to, handle your income.
A clear example of control your lifestyle will be?
So control your lifestyle is, okay, you know that your income level cannot support the school fees of your children, but because you are neighbors with people whose children attend that school, you want to, meet the Joneses and that kind of thing, or impress someone, then you take your child to that school. Every month, every quarter, you are struggling, and then you are living in neighborhoods that is way above your income, I think the rule of thumb is that your rent shouldn't be more than 40% of your income and all that. So, and then also spending on lifestyle things. Some people say that, okay, you have to do packaging and all that, but you have to do it. There are thrift ways of packaging in other cheaper options, and then you'll be able to live a meaningful life. So the practical advice is that if you see a marginal increase in your income, you have to split that increase, maybe do 30% into savings or investment, 20% into debt reduction. There are lots of people, or generally, people have debts. Either they have debts, they've used debt to finance their building, they've used debt to buy a car, they've used debt to do something. People even take debt or loans for weddings and that kind of thing. So if your income level increases, some of the strategy will be that, okay, how can I reduce my debt? If you reduce your debt, it means that your monthly repayment becomes much lower. Then you push some into your savings and then some to your lifestyle. I mean, you can't continue saving. You don't know when you die. So you have to enjoy some, but prudently keep some somewhere that can come in.
All this falls under the controlling of your lifestyle.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I hope you're taking note of this. If you don't remember anything at all, let's remember that 40% of your income for your rent, at least it shouldn't be more than that. Nugget number 4.
Nugget number 4 talks about the need for you to understand what you are investing in before you put. A lot of us put money in things we don't understand. Sometimes we are very careful, so you don't want your children to relate with certain people who have questionable behaviors. You don't want to mingle with certain people with certain characters that pose threats to you. But sometimes when it comes to our money, we become very reckless. If you don't understand what you are investing in, it's not safe for you to put your money in. So one of the practical things we should do this year is that before you put your money somewhere, understand it very well, where the money is going. What company am I investing in? Are they licensed? And then are they practicing good corporate governance? Are they managing risk very well? And then you monitor them. You follow the news. Anytime they appear in news for the wrong reason, you should be triggered. You know, scams strive when people have low financial education. High returns without clarity is very, very dangerous. So the practical advice for me here is that people should, if they can't explain the profits to you, the returns as a result of whatever profits or gains that are made, if it can't be explained to you, then please walk away with your hard-earned money. Remember, any money you commit to investment is something that you have denied yourself consumption and the pleasure of enjoying that money. So if you are going to entrust it into the hands of someone, it should be an institution that will safeguard it for you so that when you need it, you come for it. And one rule of thumb is also important, that you diversify your income. It's very important. So when you have money, you can put some into a financial instrument, treasury bills, bonds, mutual funds, and then business ownership. Sometimes people don't see business investment as investment. So you have to invest in some small business, some sole proprietorship, some partnerships. That will also help you generate some form of income. And then you have to also invest in some landed properties, and that has to be done with a lot of due diligence. And the rule is, don't put your money where you can't explain the risk. I understand. So if it sounds like free money, it means that it will ultimately come with free tears. It's just a matter of time, like a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. So we need to be very mindful of some of these basic things. Okay, that's hilarious. Nugget number 5. Final nugget. Okay, our final nugget is financial independence is the new respect. You know, financial independence is a state we get to where we don't have to actively work to, have a normal lifestyle, the kind of lifestyle we have. I think about 2 years ago, despite bought for himself a car, then people, on his birthday, it was millions of dollars. People started calculating the insurance that he was going to pay and all that. That is his choice. So financial independence is not fixed. Everyone and what financial independence means to them. So as an individual, you should be able to determine what financial independence means. So how much money do I have to show me that I'm financially independent, that can live me my lifestyle? What landed properties should I have? What businesses should I have running that will give me a sense of like some sort of self-actualization when it comes to finances. So it's very important that you have to put your life in a manner that, plan your life in a manner that you become financially independent. One thing I've observed is that a lot of us have a very false sense of financial independence. Because we are gainfully employed and every month our salaries drop, we think we are okay until something happens. I mean, COVID has showed us that some industries can be grounded if there's some emergency that no one was able to plan or estimate. Russia, Ukraine, we've seen it, and other economic meltdown and all that. So if you have to plan your life in a way that you wouldn't have to go cap in hand begging for people for survival. And a lot of us also have a false sense of financial independence because we are not able to clearly define our source of financial independence. For instance, if you're a politically exposed person and by virtue of your position, you don't pay for certain things like travels and other things, for a period of time, you begin to feel like you are okay. But if you sit down and you analyze and you know that's okay, the source of my financial independence is this. And then how strong is that source? Some people, to the source of their financial independence is their spouse. If that is it, then you have to hold that relationship so tight with your heart. Because if you do, you drop it, you are finished. So the practical advice is for us to set boundaries. You cannot be financially independent if you don't plan your finances well and put yourself in a position where you will not be vulnerable to anyone. So it's important that we save for health, for old age, for children's education. And we have to start thinking beyond today, and then today and tomorrow, and even think into the coming future. You cannot pour from an empty cup, so keep filling your cup so you get to that level where you feel like, okay, by now, I think by God's grace, I'm financially independent. I have a lot to survive on till the Lord calls.
Aren't you just happy that we just brought you this straightforward, no gimmicks, nuggets that are practical, that you can as well practice? Any of the books you have authored have got these nuggets?
Yeah, so I have Start Right, A Guide to Financial Investments in Ghana. That book talks a lot about investments, product risk, and even talks a lot about planning towards your retirement as well. Okay. I have Career Toolkit for Dreamers. That also talks about career. I mean, a lot of us have gifted with so many things that we can monetize to our benefit. So that book is also very good. You can grab it and others as well.
What's your social media handle so that they can follow?
It's just my name as it is, Sophia Kafrite, on LinkedIn, Facebook.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I want to
just power pack nuggets. That stay with me. I'm going to spend a few minutes with Narcotic Control as well to see what they have been doing. Do you understand drug abuse? Today we'll get to understand with a few minutes. That's left. Always a pleasure. Have a good one. Happy New Year. You got something to say?
Well, I just wanted to make a closing statement.
Please do.
Okay. So my closing statement is that 2026 will not reward people who earn more. It will reward people who plan better. Financial wisdom is no longer an option, but it's a survival. Thank you very much and have a blessed year.
This was important. You had to. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please stay.